Hi, my name is Shelley Hundley. I serve on the leadership team of the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. I want to talk to you about a book that I just wrote. It's called A Cry for Justice, The Forgotten Face of Jesus as Judge and Advocate. This is a book that really takes you through the biblical content of this specific revelation of Jesus as our judge and as our advocate. In this generation, we've really lost the sense of who Jesus is as the righteous judge who makes the wrong things right. In my own life, I grew up in the nation of Colombia as a daughter of missionaries there, and grew up in a climate of suffering, persecution, martyrdom, and at that time, the city that I grew up in, Medellin, was the murder capital of the world. I grew up around all of that reality of injustices, and then also kind of had some of my own areas of suffering and even trauma and abuse that I went through as a child. All of that collectively left me in a place of being an atheist and not wanting to hear about Jesus or the gospel. And the reality was that when the Lord actually revealed himself to me, the process began of me really making sense of a lot of what I had gone through. In that, the Lord began to lead me through the scriptures to understand this face of Jesus as judge and advocate. And for many of us in the church today, we're ashamed of this aspect of Jesus. We don't know how to actually talk about how he feels about making those wrong things right and understanding the judgments of God's heart that he releases. We're ashamed of who he is in that aspect, and I believe with all my heart that we are missing a huge component of the gospel. We can't share the gospel with those that are around us if we don't actually understand how to reveal the heart of Jesus in the midst of injustice and suffering and pain that goes on around us. One day, a specific moment, I was in a place of prayer, and I had been really understanding the love of God and studying that theme out, having gone through Bible school here in Kansas City at that time as a young person, when the Holy Spirit spoke to me as just one little phrase. And he just said to me, "Shelley, you need to know Jesus as your judge." As soon as the Holy Spirit spoke that to me, in my own heart, I thought, I don't want to go near a paradigm of a God who's getting ready to punish me or is looking for something that I'm doing wrong. I had no idea what the Lord actually began to do in my heart. And so in that, the Lord began to reveal to me that actually understanding Jesus as the righteous judge is to understand that he is the one who fights for us and not against us. And that we actually have someone that we can go to with our own cases of injustice, our own personally as well as what we see in the world around us, that he is the one who will fight for the oppressed. In the midst of that, the Lord then began to restore my own dignity and worth before him, and began to give me a message that I have literally seen impact thousands. As I've ministered and taught in many different settings, this content, this reality of Jesus as the judge who fights for us has had such an impact on people's hearts in a way that I couldn't have ever have predicted or seen. So I want to invite you to go deep in this content through this book, A Cry for Justice. It will take you through the biblical references and how we can reclaim this aspect of who Jesus is. And it will lead you through as well what it looks like to truly forgive. When Jesus asks us to forgive, he's not just asking us to forget what happened in our own lives and it's not significant. He's actually saying to us, present your case to a righteous judge. And in the midst of that, I saw so much forgiveness that broke loose in my own heart. It gave me a fervor to pray for those that had wronged me, because the fundamental cry in my heart of injustice was answered by Jesus, the judge and advocate. So I encourage you to go deep in this content and hope that this book will be helpful in revealing this aspect of Jesus as judge and advocate.